request for some information. Mike Sweeney wants to talk a little bit about things going on in the Rotary Club. And so I'm going to let Mike have the phone for a few minutes. The phone.
I can figure out how to turn this on. Okay. All right, I was asked to talk to you about Rotary, but more important than that is the Red Cross and how Rotary is helping what's called Cruz Roja here in San Felipe, and how important Cruz Roja is to not just us here in San Felipe or here in El Dorado, but how important Cruz Roja is to the citizens of San Felipe, and how all of us together can keep Cruz Roja running and going. Go ahead. So first I want to talk about what is Rotary. A lot of people may not be familiar with what Rotary is, but it's an international organization. We have over 1.3 million members, and we are this close to eliminating polio worldwide. Rotary, that is our big draw. The name is coming right now. There are only 3 countries left in the world that have polio, and a lot of this is because of the efforts of Rotary Club. Our local chapter was formed in 2003. We meet Monday at El Cortez. Everyone's welcome to come to any of our meetings. We have 38 active members right now, and we have 4 major fundraising events every year. What the Rotary does here, go ahead. The Rotary here in San Felipe has done a lot of good for the community. We've raised over $58,000 for the Cancer Society. This year, the education, high school, we've provided scholarships for over 154 students in San Felipe. These kids might not have had the opportunity to go to school if it wasn't for Rotary. Vision and eye care, over $120,000, orphanages, many, many things. Aid to the poor and elderly this year. We donate money to the rowing team, the track team. We plant trees. We help build the rehab center. Reading glasses, mammogram machines. Every month we donate money to the local food bank. So Rotary is very important right here in San Felipe, and a lot of it is because you do attend our fundraising events and you do donate to our club. The difference between the U.S. Red Cross and Cruz Roja is the U.S. Red Cross responds to natural disasters. They provide emergency food, they provide emergency shelter, and they provide assistance to rebuilding if that's necessary. The local Red Cross in San Felipe is a completely different animal. It responds to all types of emergencies: medical, auto accidents, industrial accidents. We provide transportation to and from the border, to and from hospitals. We provide EMT services, critical. And we're staffed by local English-speaking people, and it's 24/7 coverage. That's the local San Felipe Red Cross. The difference between the funding is that the U.S. Red Cross is well funded by an international organization. The San Felipe Rotary Club, or the San Felipe Cruz Roja, is self-funded. Funding from the state of California, Baja, did exist for a while, but the funding stopped. Even though people are paying, when you get a license plate in Baja, part of that money goes towards funding Cruz Roja, somehow it gets lost up there in the north part of the state. But actually, the operations were shut down for a lack of funds for a while. But they do weird things like they donated a 2014 new ambulance to the Cruz Roja in San Felipe. The trouble was, someone had to go to Mexico City and drive it back. They didn't provide gas or anything. It was just, go get the ambulance, here it is. So the Cruz Roja is very, very active here in San Felipe. We have a lot of emergencies. You can see in 2016 there were 70 emergency calls, 67 in November. 2016, 63, average cost to a patient per response, $0. They don't charge anything for emergency responses to help you out. This is just a chart to show you when we're active, and as you can see, it's during the tourist season, of course. Type of responses: accidents, false alarms, others. They respond to everything, any emergency that you see locally. The overall annual responses, 682 in 2015, 787 in 2016. And projected for 2017 right now, could be as many as 890. It seems to have sped up, and I think maybe some of that is because more people are aware of the services. We've had the races here. You know, there's been a lot more people in town. On average, a call every 9 hours. So the fundraising efforts here in San Felipe for Cruz Roja, we have donations from various organizations like Rotary, the Lions Club, the street solicitations. Those guys you see out there with those little jars walking around with the Red Cross uniform on, that money goes towards their salaries. It goes towards keeping their operation up and running. And so don't be shy about putting money in those little jars when those guys are out on the street. And you see the Cruz Roja. Cruz Roja, I don't know about the other ones, but I know Cruz Roja. We know where that money goes, and it goes directly towards Cruz Roja. The Rotary Club does help, though. We have direct donations through GoFundMe, credit cards, or checks. We have fundraising events. A lot of that money goes towards Cruz Roja. And we have people that are giving recurring individual donations. And there's a lot of people in here I talked to on the way in. We're so glad that you are doing that. And it has kept Cruz Roja viable. Otherwise, we wouldn't have anything. Proceeds from the Craft Beer Festival here at El Dorado Ranch went to Cruz Roja. We had a charity poker event, donated money again to Cruz Roja. So the money that's donated to the Rotary Club is in what's called a restricted fund. And a restricted fund means it is highly regulated, and you can come and look at our records, just ask for a request, but it can only be used for that single purpose. We have a Rotary restricted fund for nothing but Cruz Roja. All the money that's given to it, 100% of the money, we don't keep anything for administration or any of that. 100% of the money goes to Cruz Roja. It's defined by the rules of Rotary International and the club bylaws, administered by our Rotary Foundation treasurer, and a detailed accounting is available upon request, if you're interested. And the donations are tax deductible. So, what will the funds be used for when you do donate? Well, we provide supplies for the ambulances. That ambulance I talked about that was delivered to us was just a stripped down ambulance. All it had in it was the gurney and some glass shelves. We had to completely supply that thing. The ambulance maintenance, the ambulances we saw when we took over, after Cruz Roja shut down, so many people were affected by that. We went and looked at what they had, what was available. The ambulances were in a disaster. The seats were torn up, the windows were cracked, the wheels were basically bald, and we turned all that around, all of us together, and we've been able to get all of this up and running as normal ambulance that you would find in the United States. We pay for operating expenses, fuel, phone, electricity, etc. We do EMT training, and we do transportation and lodging for people who are going up for EMT training. We will not pay for things like salaries, or meals, or entertainment, or uniforms, or any unauthorized expense. Anytime there's an expense with Cruz Roja, they have to submit the expense form to the Rotary Restricted Fund. We look at the costs, and we go ahead and write a check out to cover those costs. We generally pay the suppliers directly. So, as you can see, we pay for services rendered, again, ambulance maintenance, tires and fuel. And this was the interior of the ambulance that we just received. Nothing was in there. It was just completely empty. We worked with Baja Medical Center, got delivery of supplies. We went through people who worked in ambulances, EMT specialists before. We looked online, what's critical in an ambulance for emergency situations. And those are the supplies we bought down and put into our ambulances. So they're supplied with the latest and greatest equipment. Windows were cracked, things were torn up. You can see we replaced the windshields, much safer that way. Oh, the Jaws of Life. We asked them if they had such a thing, Jaws of Life. They go, sure, we have Jaws of Life. We asked them if they work. They said, no, they haven't worked in years. But they had them. What we did was we were able to get those Jaws of Life. We took them up into the States, had them repaired by an authorized repair person. So now, here in San Felipe, there's a Jaws of Life, if anything like that is ever needed. And again, it's not just for us, it's for the people of San Felipe. Blood pressure monitors, they didn't even have decent blood pressure monitors. We provided those. Another thing they had at the Cruz Roja building was an air conditioner that must have been built in 1986. Because this was their electric bill, 7,332 pesos. We were able to put in a state-of-the-art, one of the new mini splits. We lowered that bill to practically nothing. So again, a huge savings for Cruz Roja. More money for ambulance supplies. This was an old building. Well, this is the building. No cover over any of the ambulances. We built a safe structure, and actually some people outside of from Mexicali also assisted us with building this. So now the ambulances, when you get in them, if there's an emergency, you don't have to wait an hour and a half for them to cool down and be comfortable. They can drive right out there and they're all ready to go. The radio system they had, that wasn't even functional. It was basically just cell phones. People trying to call each other and talk to the doctor and figure out what's going on, what the EMT specialist needed to do. And what we did, and with the South Tempe Rotary Club, built, again, a state-of-the-art radio system with repeaters throughout the area, so that now the ambulances could be in communication with the doctors at the hospital for advice on what needs to be done. We can tell them where they need to go and what they need to do. The other thing that we've had, we work with other Rotary clubs in the United States as well, not just people locally. We provide training. We just had a training here at EDR in April. We were training the people here, EMT, how to do emergency procedures for people. Donated again by Tempe and Tempe South Rotary, pediatric body board, so we can hold children in position in case there's something wrong with their neck or back. Defibrillators, those weren't even available in the local ambulances. So now those are available, and we also provide training and the pads that are necessary to operate those. We resupply those whenever they're in use. Oxygen tanks, you would think they would have had those. You would be wrong. We provided oxygen tanks. They had one. They would share it between ambulances. So the future plans for Cruz Roja. We are going to conduct CPR classes for the public here at EDR and EDR security. As you saw, we have kitchen magnets, and it has numbers for the security system, for the security, who to call if you do have an emergency, so keep that handy. New equipment, laptop, ECGs, we're hoping those are going to be able to work with the cell phone system, and so that they'll be able to monitor your vital signs. So when you're in transportation, they can keep track of your vital signs. Increase education and EMT training, and we have all the vehicles on a scheduled maintenance. Important. So how can you help? Open your hearts and checkbooks, please. Agree to make monthly donations on a recurring basis. Even if it's only $10 or $20, it helps. Support and donate our fundraising events. I know everybody likes to come to all the events that Rotary has. They're a lot of fun. Many times that money goes towards the Cruz Roja. And help spread the word about the needs. Tell your friends how important it is to support Cruz Roja. One way to make your donation is via check. You can make those checks out to the San Felipe Rotary Foundation and the memo to Cruz Roja Restricted Fund. And we'll make sure that that money gets directly into that fund. Or you can mail the checks to the San Felipe Rotary if you're not in town, in Calexico. Those little papers we're distributing has all that information. You can drop it off at Sunrunner. You see marked Rotary, it's PMB 370, that's our box. Another thing you can do is monthly recurring donations through your checking account. And again, San Felipe Rotary Foundation. Or we have a GoFundMe account. You could go to GoFundMe, and that information again is on the paper we distributed. Click on the orange Donate Now button. Select your donation amount. $200, $300, $400 a month, that'd be good. Give this amount monthly option, which would be excellent, and then click Continue. You'll be asked for your credit card information is secure. Your donation will come. When we get a check, we have it come to our mailbox every month. It goes directly into the restricted fund. So remember, this is a type of insurance policy, just like your homeowners, auto, health, or life, the kind you hope you never need. But if you do have it, you'll be glad you did. How many people know someone here or have used Cruz Roja themselves? I know several people. A lot of hands are up. A lot of hands are up. And, you know, we've had people that have fallen downstairs and needed stitches. We've had people who have had strokes and needed to be taken to the United States. And we're able to do that because Cruz Roja is here today. That wouldn't happen if these donations were made. There would not be a Cruz Roja. So ask yourself, in an emergency, without Cruz Roja, what would you do? Meetings oh yes, anybody can come. Just let us know. The meetings are at the El Cortez Hotel on Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning. All right, you're more than welcome. So thank you. If you have questions, I'm going to be over here. You're more than welcome to come by and ask any questions. But in the interest of the meeting, we'll go ahead and let the boss take over.
Okay,
Yes.
thanks, Mike. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
And I will, you know, I know that the Rotary Club did step up when Cruz Roja was totally failing. I mean, they had nothing in their account and they could get no help internally in Mexico. And so Rotary did step up and Barry helped organize all of that. And so, you know, a big thank you to the Rotary guys and for everything they've done to keep Red Cross in good shape. I know they have a pretty good funding in their bank account and they're in pretty good shape. And also Baja Medical, I know that they Rotary gives Baja Medical a list of supplies they need every month, and Baja Medical doesn't charge them for it, it gives them supplies to the Rotary. So everybody's working to contribute to keep the Red Cross in good shape. So thank you for that, Mike. I also have been asked to let a group that is doing tours in Baja, they want to do tours to the wine country. They do them right now, and they're pretty big, and they wanted to take a few minutes and just tell you guys about some of the tours that they do in Mexico. So Jimena Virial, and she's, okay, there's some other folks. Go ahead, guys.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Raul Torres, and I'm here to represent Los Angeles Express Tours. Basically, we have tours to anywhere in the Baja. We go from normal vehicles to buses, vans, and I'm sorry, this is my first time with a mic, so I'm really rapping. Yeah, we have luxury vehicles. All our tours are one-day tours, but we can accommodate to all your needs. We have new vehicles, we have insured vehicles. All our drivers are certified. And basically, you can, any tour you like, we will do. Any prices. We have the wine. We have 3-day tours, 1-day tours that are all round trip. And we have the wine tour, the lobster tour, and the beer tour, which is in Tecate. And we'll be at the door if you guys need any information. We can just do just about anything that you guys need, anywhere in Baja or local country. So,
if you have a question, the flyers comes our Facebook. You can ask us, or you can go to the table, ask us. There comes we have an email and the internet page. So, any questions? We'll gladly answer. Okay.
So, thank you guys. I'm going to ask them, I would like for them to coordinate the tour efforts through Jorge Libros, our activities director. Roberto Liesel will talk to you about that. Or through Caesar, through the restaurant and activities. Go ahead,
Yes,
Roberto.
yes, as a matter of fact, you know that Jorge has been organizing some trips to different areas. The last one was to the wine country here in, very close to Ojos Negros, yes, right. And then the other one was to Mexicali for the Chinese food, like going through the center of Mexicali, whole story. But looking at this, we were approached by the people of Los Angeles, and they offer the tours too. So sometimes Jorge has so many activities that it's hard to do everything of organizing. So right now we will have the support of this company, and they will be offering tours through Jorge, who will be coordinating that. Thank you very much.
Quickly, before I get into my comments, let me just introduce the delegado from San Felipe, Jose Luis Dagnino Lopez. Jose Luis was our previous delegado and was reaffirmed when the new municipal president Sanchez came in, so we're glad to have you back, Jose Luis, as delegado. And also with us is Ricardo Sanchez from Notario 16, the new Notario in San Felipe. And they have a very professional office set up in the, right across from the Placita, right across from Vancomer. They're on the third floor. They have the whole office area on the third floor up there. But I know a lot of Americans and foreigners who don't have wills yet. You guys, we all need a will in Mexico. So if you don't, the probate gets to be very difficult. And so, but now we don't have to run all the way to Mexicali for notario needs. So we're glad that they're here, and I think they're doing well. So thank you, Tony.
Just a quick question. If you can, what his job entails to Jose Luis, what his job functions are here in San Felipe. What is he? How can, in case there's issues here in San Felipe or here at the ranch or anywhere, to go to him, and what kind of job? What is his? How can I say? What does he do? How can he help?
Well, I really don't know. No, he's the legal and representative for the municipal president in Mexicali, and he's responsible directly for the fire department, for the civil works, the trash, and also trying to get his budget needs and for keeping the town in as good of shape as we can keep it in with the amount of budget he can get out of Mexicali. And of course he's responsible for the police department also. So those are just some of the duties I know he's responsible for, probably a lot of others, I think all the social needs in town, etc. So their offices are right next to the fire department downtown. And so, if you have needs, I know Jose Luis will give us a good ear and understand what you guys might have to talk about. Okay, with that, let me kind of go into my own comments. Thank you again for being here at the semi-annual developer meeting. I know that many of you were at the meeting in November when I had the Summers companies here, and Miss Stephanie Summers made a statement about her investment in Eldorado Ranch and its related companies. We negotiated a contract with her to purchase part of my companies. The contract called for certain dates for her to make investments, for closing dates, and to date she's been unable to do that. So we did establish an escrow account. She does have a large promissory note in the escrow account. I've continued to extend the escrow account from her on a weekly basis to allow for her to get closed with us. She is very insistent that the investment is going to go forward, and that she does stay in touch with me weekly to keep me as updated as possible on where she is with working with the funds that she works with and the investment banks that she's working with to complete our deal. So I did receive a communication from her late yesterday, and which is pretty detailed. And she explains to me in this communication what her commitments are in the very near future. And she tells me that, and I'll quote this in an email she sent me, she said, "I expect very good news on all fronts in the upcoming week." And in the outline that she sent me yesterday, she said that she should have specific funding dates by next week, and that there will be a significant funding that will be taking place in the second quarter of the year, which is from now until June, the end of June. So Watermark, her construction company, also under a contract with Equipos Electricos, which is a very large electrical underground infrastructure company in Mexicali. They started work about 45 days ago, and after doing the entire inspection of where the current work, when we had to stop all the infrastructure work, they reviewed all of that. They set up their temporary office over in an area. We gave them a secured area where they were going to store all their equipment and machinery. And Stephanie's company, Watermark, was supposed to make them an initial payment within 45 days of the commencement of their contract. That payment wasn't made. She states that the construction loan that she's obtaining to pay for the work has been delayed, but it will move forward very soon. And she reaffirmed that in the letter to me yesterday. So it's been very frustrating. And as I've told her, we've had two other contracts in place where we've had similar situations where the contracts were in place at the notario and everything, and the potential investors just had not been able to raise the funds to close the deal. She insists that she's going to be able to close the deal very soon. She understands my level of frustration because she has to listen to it every week. And in the meantime, she understands also that we are struggling to maintain and keep ourselves alive from on a week-to-week basis. So anyway, that's kind of where things stand with her right now, with the Summers companies. Let me just comment on the pipe leaks that we've had in the condominiums. I told you in November that we had, our attorneys filed a formal complaint against the manufacturer of the pipes, NIBCO, and the attorneys, after doing some investigation with the insurance company, investigators, with our attorneys hired some investigators also, so there were two different investigation groups, and they came up with, what they thought the solutions were to remedy the problem and get the condo leaks, the pipes replaced. And the attorneys had suggested a mediation. The NIBCO attorney, or whoever, and I think their insurance company and their corporate attorney refused to do a mediation. At that point, our attorneys filed a complaint case, a lawsuit, and the NIBCO attorneys have pled to the courts to dismiss the case, and our attorneys filed a strong response to that. Our attorneys feel very confident that the case will not be dismissed. So we're waiting for a judge's decision right now to move forward with that case. And the next step would be discovery, and then our attorneys have also requested a jury trial for the case. Just a comment on condo insurance. Just a reminder that for people that do own condos, that according to Article 37 and their regulations, that we have suggested strongly that they get their own personal content insurance policy for their personal property. And so we do encourage you to do that if you haven't done that. And and of course, everybody that has homes that have contents to be insured need to do the same thing. And that can be acquired through various insurance agents in town or in Mexicali. We've had some requests for more information and comments on the conversion of the master trust from HSBC, who I think you guys all know that we've announced. HSBC announced to all of the holders of trust that they were going out of the trust department business, which they did. And so we had to get a new trust company, which we got a company, it's Banco Inmobiliaria de Mexico. And so we're in the process of transferring HSBC trust to the Banco Inmobiliaria accounts. So if your lot number begins with 6100 through 7600, then you're a owner that is in this, and you're the first owner in this group, and you have a master trust certificate from HSBC. That master trust certificate needs to be reissued through Banco Inmobiliaria. If you haven't received the HSBC certificate, then you'll need to apply one if you're in this grouping with Banco Inmobiliaria. If you're a second owner in that number group 6100, 7600, or you still have a finance contract with the developer, then this doesn't apply to you. And all the instructions, if you are in that group, and the necessary forms to be completed are available on the HOA website. A comment about the golf course. The golf course continues to struggle, mainly through lack of water. We did get well number 7 back into operation, but it's got a lower capacity. That well was a very deep well, and we actually had a collapse in the bottom of the well and the casing on the pipe, and we did the best we could to repair it, but the repair was not 100%. We couldn't get 100%, so we had reduced capacity there. The lake levels are back up to normal, and we have money so earmarked in our new investor financing to completely restore the golf course to its original condition and keep it maintained at that level. Let me just comment on the commercial fishing activity that's going on in town. There is a federal ban on gill nets that's in effect. The gill nets were banned because they capture and kill 2 endangered species here in our neighborhood in the Sea of Cortez. And those endangered species are the giant sea bass, the totuaba, and the baby porpoise, the vaquita. And the fishermen using the gill net want the totuaba bladders or the pulchi, which is sold in the black market in China for up to it's sold here for $5,000 a kilo. By the time it gets to China, it can go up to as much as $20,000 or $25,000 a kilo. So it's a lucrative black market product. It's got a nickname now of aqua cocaine. So the commercial fishing is still legal with nylon nets or a system that's called a Chango system. The federal subsidy for the commercial fishermen ends this month. And so the situation between the commercial fishermen and the federal government ban on gill nets is still somewhat of a dangerous situation in town. There have been crime and other, activities, including a few murders involved in the moving of this black market product. There is an initiative that I've kind of supported also for sports fishing for the Totoaba on a very limited basis with limited permits, which would annually increase tourism to San Felipe and would offer the commercial fishing guys that wanted to become part of that program an alternative to continue to fish. So we're waiting for further actions on behalf of the federal government. Actually, the plan that we've promoted is in conjunction with some of the business people in town, the Mexican business people. 60% of the net proceeds that would come off of the legal sale, the white market sale of the bochi would go back to town and would be able to fund a lot of the needs in town. I mean, from everything from streets to schools to hospitals, and it's sustainable. It would be there every year. So we've given the proposal to the ex-governor, Ernesto Rufo, he's a federal senator, and he actually is responsible for Fish and Game in the Senate seat for all of Mexico. So we have created an executive project that has a lot of scientific backup in it, and so that's in the motion right now of trying to figure out how they're going to get the situation resolved and keep the fishing guys with an opportunity to work and come up with the resolutions they need. I'd like to thank the supervisory committee led by President Steve Kemme and the EDR committee members that work with Steve, who are Ed Jones and Bob Miller. And also on the La Ventana Del Mar side, the committee members are Denise Levine and Hans Wilschut. And on Las Villas committee, it's Martha Rezak and Gary Lambert. I want to thank the guys. They've been very diligent in the monthly meetings. They usually take about 6-7 hours a month. And they're very thorough. And I would also like to thank the HOA staff that is led by Roberto Islas and the Eldorado Development staff led by Jesus Olmos. So one other thing that I would like to announce is that this Thursday, we won at Notario number 5 in Mexicali, who's a concert pianist guy. He has invited this new quartet to do a fundraising event, benefit event for the Santa Maria Giving Fund. This quartet group is from Genoa, Italy, and they're world renowned. So they'll be here this Thursday, and tickets for that event are on sale at the Pavilion, Sunrunner, and Yetmail. And also on this Saturday is the chili cook-off at Club de Pesca, which is a good outing, a fun day. So that's about it for me. I'm going to open up the floor for questions. And again, thanks for being here, and I'll take some questions.
Good morning, Pat. I'm pretty sure you know who I am, but my name is Tony Cuevas, and I've been here for 12 years, and I just got a couple of questions I got to ask. You know, Pat, you didn't mention anything in your previous meetings about the marketing. You're going to start promoting the ranch a little bit more. I didn't hear anything about that, about the marketing, because, you know, like I mentioned before, that we need a, pretty well, kick in the butt here in order to get our place, looking squared away here. So I know the money situation is bad with, the young lady who's a partner with you. But that's one of my questions if you want to answer that right now. But I got like 2 more questions if you don't mind.
Okay, so Tony, I'm glad you did raise the question on marketing. Yeah, we just haven't done any marketing for a couple of reasons. One is that obviously there's a big cost associated with it. I mean, I used to spend $2, $3, $4 million a year in marketing, as we all know. The issue that I made some decisions on a few years ago that really, until I can get shovels in the ground again and I can get things that I had to stop back under construction, so when people come here to see the ranch, they know that things are going to get finished. And until I get shovels in the ground, I'm really just wasting money trying to market, because people will come here and they say, well, why aren't these condos finished? Why aren't the roads finished, the golf course? Why? And I have to tell them, well, because we're working on getting some additional funding right now, and they say, well, you know, initially we like the place and everything, but when all that starts working again, let us know, we'll come take a look again. I've just wasted a whole lot of marketing money. So we, fortunately, we have actually done some sales. It's been very low key, but we have done some sales and some resales in the past couple of years. It's certainly not at the pace that we want to be at. With this funding in place, I've got a fresh $5 million earmarked for marketing, and we'll go back and do a full marketing program. Yeah.
Another question I have too, I'm sure a lot of you people who live here, maybe like out a couple months out of the year, I'm here full time, I'm sure a lot of you other people are here full time. But I'm sure you're aware, as you cross into those arches there and you guys start going towards the Malecon, I know you guys get a lot of loose teeth from the way the roads are constructed here. And I've kind of mentioned it to Pat, and I've mentioned it to Jesus, I mentioned it to Roberto Islas. The reason I got the young gentleman here, I've been working with him as far as seeing about getting the roads paved somehow, because we pay taxes here. We pay our property taxes, and all the money seems to go to Mexicali. And it's been an ongoing issue with the streets, especially the one from the Malecon all the way down, from the arches to the Malecon, and the one right in front of the casino area. And the young gentleman here was telling me that they're going to start paving. So, I mean, you know, it's something that we should see as a community, see about getting done. And I was thinking about starting a petition with you guys here at the ranch. If you want to sign, you don't have to. And I'm going to see about the Mexican people here. I've been talking to a lot of the Mexican local people here about signing a petition and then taking it to the right people in order to see about getting something done here as far as the roads are concerned. So, you know, like I said, I'm starting a petition to see what's going to go on.
Thanks, Tony. I mean, I don't have any more comments on that. Like I say, seriously, if we were able to get the sports fishing program together and get it accepted the way we want to get it accepted, then we create a sustainable amount of money that you guys would have a hard time believing, but we've done all the numbers, and it's tens of millions of dollars a year that would go back into this town. And it would make the town sustainable, and it would also make us viable to become a municipality. So we're hoping that effort takes root, and we work at it on a regular basis. Go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, and that other question I was going to ask, I asked Jesus Olmos. I don't want to put you in the spot here, but about 4 or 5 years ago, I asked for environmental, you know, how it's going over there at the mine. A lot of people are using, you know, chemicals that they use over there, and you know, and I don't know, you know, everything dries up. They're making that big mountain out there, but I don't know what they use chemicals in order to wash down the sides of the hills and stuff, and it dries up, and then we get our northern winds, and they start coming this way towards us. So I don't know if any people are aware of all the, you know, the kind of stuff that's going on. Like I mentioned to Jesus Olmos about getting a environmental report on the stuff that they use there. Like I said, that was 3 or 4 years ago, and I'm still waiting. So hopefully I get it someday. I'd appreciate it. Thanks.
So Tony, that really is an area for Jose Luis and the municipal president. I mean, the ranch has nothing to do with the mine, obviously. But that's where you could raise that question. I'd encourage you to do that.
Thank you.
First, if I may, a comment and then a couple questions. One of the problems that we have here is when there's a dearth or an emptiness of information. It's like when there's a silence, people have to fill it. We start talking, and when we're not getting all the information that I think we should be getting, somebody has to fill that. And what happens is it usually gets filled with things that hopefully turn out to be false rumors and so forth. And when that's the only information we get, it creates a very antagonistic environment. So my comment would be that you've obviously been aware of these delays and so forth, but we could only suppose, what was going on. So we need better communication, be it good news or bad news. Just anything that would fill the void from you versus the void being filled from other people.
Fair enough, we can do that. I would just need a vehicle to do it with, and of course the developer is separate from the homeowner association. I think probably the best vehicle for us to do it though is probably through that HOA, through their website. I'm not sure, but we can look at whatever vehicle we could use, but I wouldn't mind providing just a general monthly update. That's what I think you're asking for.
And as everybody knows here, there's a lot of people that know when those rumors, I read them, I don't post on Facebook, but anytime I get a direct email and say, what is this, what's going on, I give them an express answer. If you email me directly at any time, any day, I will give you the exact status of exactly what's going on at any time. We'll do the updates, which we do, it just doesn't get disseminated worldwide. There's a list of people that are on that update list, as you well know. But I can make that, if he's agreeing to put it on the HOA website, we do one every 3 to 4 weeks to all those people. But if you have something immediate, don't be afraid to email me and ask me, because I'll answer you.
What's your email?
pbutler@elmorado.ranch.com.
See, frankly, I know that's done with all good intentions, but it ends up a negative when only certain people get the information. Then it goes out, like, who are these privileged people? We should all be getting the information and so forth. So I know that's not the intent, but it turns around and ends up that way.
Right, but if you ever have something that's out there, which I see it going back and forth, I always ask myself, why won't they just send me an email and ask?
Right.
Instead of supposing what's going on, all they have to do is send an email, no matter who it is. I'll answer everybody's email.
Then if I may go on with some specific questions. Was there any sort of good faith deposit on the original contract here that would be sacrificed if this deal doesn't go through?
Ross, the only thing we have is in her escrow account is a $25 million promissory note. Okay, and that was the good faith that she was willing to put up, and it is in a national escrow account company, and Doreen, in order to keep that escrow alive, we have to extend it for her every week. She wanted me to extend it on a monthly basis. I refused to do that because I want to keep the pressure on her to close. So I said, I'll do it for a week-by-week basis as long as you're giving me a weekly update as to where you are in getting this financing completed. So.
Okay, and Summers and Company, are they a broker for this deal, or would they be the financer?
They are the deal. They're not the broker.
Okay. Last question. More on the Totoaba idea that you've had, and I've read it in complete and seen it on YouTube, I guess. Looks like a great idea. The question is, the Totoaba currently is an endangered species, so how do you get them into sports fishing and give licenses to fish them when they're in fact endangered species?
So to answer that, this is their native habitat up here in the upper Gulf of Sea Cortez. So, there's a polygonal, that's a marked polygonal by the scientific guys that show exactly where the biggest population of the Totoaba and coincidentally the biggest remaining population of the Vaquita are in the same polygonal. So in discussing this, and I have made the same presentation to the Undersecretary of Tourism federally, the lady by the name of Teresa Solis, and to her head scientific guy, Geronimo Reyes, and his idea, and he's very well positioned and acquainted with all of the sea life activity in Mexico. But in this particular situation, he said what the way to get that resolved is that there's a norm number 59, which talks about the endangered species of the Totoaba. And the only way to do this is to get an exception for this polygonal, for exception in norm 59 to allow a certain amount of permits per year, which will be based on scientific evidence that we can take that amount of fish out and it will replenish itself without hurting the overall population. So there is they have a road, a camino to kind of get this done, and that's what they're working on. And our proposal is also for every Totoaba we take out, that we buy 2 fingerling Totoabas from the University of Baja California in Ensenada with a doctorate guy who reintroduced the Totoaba here 25 years ago, Dr. David Conal-True, and that we have a replacement program. The other thing that is interesting about the Totoaba, once the female is 7 to 8 years old and she's fully mature, she can lay up to 1 million eggs a year. So in our discussion with the scientific guys, as long as it's just a limited amount that are taken out every year, then the population of the Totoaba will last forever in its native habitat.
One other thing on the communications part, something that seems to be working fairly well for somebody else, is maybe you should get a Twitter account. Thank you.
So, well, I should add, Ross, I mean, the other one that we stay in touch with every week that is the person, the broker that brought the Summers companies to me is Caldwell Banker. And so I stay in touch with the executive VP of Caldwell Bank every week and ask him the same questions, because they don't get paid until she closes. And their payday's a pretty big one. So they're on her too about getting this deal closed. And this isn't the only deal they've done with her. So we are on top of it, but she is the buyer. Her companies are the buyer, and Caldwell Banker is actually the broker in the deal.
Hi, my name is Muriel Brownstein Dooley. We've had a house there for about 10 years, but we only come twice a year, and we can never find restaurants open. We came to Pavilion last night expecting it to be open. So is there a schedule for restaurants? Is something always open?
Nacho. Come on. Did you hear the question? The lady said she came here yesterday and she came to the restaurant and your restaurant in the Pavilion was closed. They want to know what are your operating hours and you need to post them.
Yeah, it's in the front of the door. The schedule of the restaurant. That's what I did. I just put it in the front of the door. The schedule of the opening hour. Well, Tuesday and Wednesday we open until 10 p.m. Pavilion, and we open until we close at 10. Palapa, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Pavilion is closed.
What night?
Yes. It's only that different.
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, the Palapa is open, serving food and drinks until 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Tuesday and Wednesday, you're open here at Pavilion until 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, and Sunday, what do you go?
8 through 5, Palapa and Pavilion.
8 to 5, Palapa and Pavilion on Sunday,
Yeah.
and then you're closed Monday. Okay.
That's the way it goes.
So,
Well,
So-
this Monday is gonna be open, Palapa.
It's a holiday, but it will be
Yeah, only holidays we open Mondays.
on long weekend Mexican holidays. We do open Pavilion on Monday. So, Nacho, what you need to do is get with Roberto Isla and with the website director and
Post it on the website.
Post it on the website.
Okay.
Is that ready on the
It's
website?
there. It's already there. Okay. Thanks.
I seen Jorge come up here. I just want to give Jorge a hand for the tours that the last couple of months. The one to Osos Negros and the one we went to Mexicali. I don't know if any people were on it, but I thought it was a great time, and I thank you very much, Jorge.
My name is Ed Jones. I'm a supervisor for the Mountainside. This is a developer meeting, but we keep talking about the HOA website. Only 50% of the owners at El Dorado Ranch have gone up and signed on to the website. Anything you want to know about El Dorado Ranch is up there. Controlling documents, hours of the restaurant, anything. You talk about communications. If you 50% are not signed on, you're not going to get communications.
Any other questions? Yes, sir. Here you come.
Hi, Pat. Last month, we were fortunate enough to learn that there was going to be a new pickleball center over here. And I see, because I live close by, there are some fellows over there cutting out some bad pipe and getting ready to paint it. Is there a schedule when that's supposed to be completed?
Roberto? Yeah, thanks for that question, because we did have the tennis group and the pickleball group had a bunch of internal communications and then some joint communications and then some presentations. And I think what we settled out on was that everybody, the majority, were in favor of converting the tennis courts over here to a pickleball center and to keep the tennis courts over in the community center as tennis courts. Go ahead, Gordon.
Okay, yeah. For your knowledge, like the gentleman said, we already started works in the pickleball center we are already sanding all the poles and fixing them. That's going to be the first part of the work. So we're going to repaint all the area. And then this past Monday, I brought the check personally to the company who is buying the materials for starting the work in the tarmac. We are going to wait for that order like 3 weeks to arrive. And as soon as it arrives, we start doing the work. So that will be no more than 3 months in total. It's going to be very, very fast. And we are doing it ourselves, so we are saving a lot of money. I can tell you that.
So late summer, early fall, this pickleball court should be open.
Right.
Other questions or comments?
Hi, my name is Greg Eastep. I'm a new owner in one of the condos, and it's down lower where it's unfinished. The question I have is there's a unit right next to me that's painted, but it's unfinished. No one's ever lived in it. When I have a visitor come to visit, which I did, the closest visitor parking is way the other end of the street. And is there a reason why I can't have them, since it is not finished with the visitor parking, park in front of my unit where it's not blocking it?
My answer to that is that you should be able to do that. But Roberto will have to, I know that we read all these incident reports that we get monthly, and I know that some of the security incident reports are that they've put notes on people's cars that are parked in inappropriate places in the condominium areas. But in your situation, if that's the case, if we're not finished with condos and there is an area to park in there and it doesn't block anything, I think you're fine with visitors there.
Okay, and it would only be when I have a visitor.
Yeah.
That's fairly rarely. I park my own vehicle inside, of course.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
Hi, Pat. Janice Sutton. On matter of parking, we've had a lot of trouble with security at our unit. They have the races. We always get tagged. We've had security knock on our door at 10:15 at night, the lights off, pounding on the door to see if we own the car out front, not our car. We get tagged. Mexicans don't get tagged. They're parking all over. Race weekends, Semana Santana. There's a truck there that's been abandoned for 3 months. Right when you go in the entrance with Arizona plates, in a visitor parking, has not moved in 3 months. So, and the security and maintenance speeding through the condos has got to stop. They just fly through there. It's frustrating.
Well, I'm glad Roberto Islas is here to hear that, because security is his department. And so I'll ask Roberto to have some discussion with his supervisor of security, which I know he will.
Pat, if I may, I just want to build on what Janice just presented. My biggest concern is I have a boat. Now, I understand I can't park the boat in the condo area, and I'm okay with that. But it's a big boat, and it's really convenient if I bring it onto the property, load the boat, put my supplies on it, and then take off and go fishing. Novel concept. Well, unfortunately, as soon as security on the ranch sees a boat enter the gate, the last time Alma decided to follow me, she came tearing up the block, and even though it was a race weekend with cars and trucks parked up and down the street, RVs, Janice went so far as to take pictures of all the other infractions. She decided to actually confront me. Now, yes, I was running water. She made a big deal about me running water. I have to clean the motor after taking it out of the salt water. I run it for 2 minutes just to rinse the salt. I was putting the hose away. She confronted me, and then she started getting very confrontational. She had blocked the street, so another neighbor then confronted her and told her to move the vehicle, and she got very pompous, and I said, you know what? I want to speak with your supervisor. I am the supervisor, was her response. So I said, look, the hose is away, the water is off, you need to go away. I've had a real bad day. The boat had broken down in the water. I had fallen off the back of the boat. I was not in the mood to speak with Alma about what infraction I had made. She wanted to escalate the situation. I said, no, seriously, you need to go. I had already rolled up the hose, the water was off, no further infraction. I then loaded up the boat. She finally left. I loaded the boat, trailered it, took it off the facility. Little did I know, she had actually called the municipal police to report to my condo and had filed a complaint about me for being rude to her. I couldn't believe that had happened, but fortunately my neighbor, who is fluent in Spanish and who was actually the teacher to the responding officer, was able to de-escalate the situation, told him that I'm a good person, that I donate to charity, and that sometimes with the security on the ranch, sometimes they give preference to a Mexican license plate versus an American license plate. And as an owner on the ranch versus a renter, I really think that we should get some, at least understanding from security. And as Dennison said, I mean, knocking on my door at 10:15 at night, not just a tap, but I mean, bam, 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 bam. And I was like, oh my God, what's going on? And I answered the door, is that your car? No, that's not my friggin' car. Get out of here. You know, it's a little bizarre. I think that security needs a little extra training, and I would appreciate if they didn't harass me as an owner. I mean, if I beat up somebody in the street, yeah, okay, arrest me and cart me off. But if I'm just being an owner, enjoying my retirement here in El Dorado Ranch, I would appreciate that security treats me with respect and, you know, just gives me a pass. The boat's leaving. It's not going to stay here.
Okay, Roberto's right behind you. We'll let him comment for a minute.
Okay, first of all, you know my office is open for everybody. You have problems with security, you can take a picture of the guy speeding down, because let me tell you something. Not only security has El Dorado logo, there are several offices of El Dorado that has the same logo. And I don't know if it's somebody, but somebody is doing it. Take a picture, recognize the truck or the car or whatever, and we'll act on them. I have received some pictures from people, and I can tell you that we have talked with the guys who have done these things, and sometimes we just put them down in the car. That's it. You are not driving anymore. So that's a way that they will understand that. And second hand, there are rules and regulations that we have to follow. There are two situations that are out of hand and will be forever, in my opinion. That's the races and Semana Santa. Semana Santa, we are overcrowded with cars and people and everything. So we try, our people try to do the best that they can. It's not a matter of training about, for example, if they see a car parked in front of your house, they suppose it's your car. Maybe it is not. But common sense say if the parked car is parked here, it should be from the house. They don't know any other way to ask if just knocking. Maybe they knock too hard. We'll speak about that with them. At night? We are doing that at 3 o'clock in the morning. Oh, I know. But if you just want to see how they work in Easter and how they work in races, I invite any of you to go on a trip with them and just hear the way they are treated. They are screamed at, they receive menaces, they receive everything. And I am not saying that this is right for them to get mad sometimes, but it's normal behavior that they receive from people that are treating them bad. And I am not talking just visitors. We have cameras in our offices right now because there have been incidents with the girls in customer service. Why we put the cameras there? Because we receive comments like, no, it wasn't like that. I didn't did that, I didn't scream, I didn't say that words to them. Now we have cameras with sound. Everything stopped. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But we will look at that.
I expect the security people to use common sense, and if you guys have experience with them that is out of the ordinary, then you do need to report it. And so,
Roberta, I have a simple question, and it might be a matter of common sense, but in the windshields of our cars, we have a orange sticker that we pay for that says 2017.
I can't hear good.
I'm sorry, is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Common sense question. In the windshields of our cars, we have 2017 stickers that prove that we are owners and that we've paid for our stickers. What is the difference between what the renters get to identify their cars and the stickers that we have?
This is a very good point because the lady is very right. When the renters get in, they get a hanger that they put in the mirrors. That's a way to recognize a rental car, and that's right. If they see, they have to see that. Okay, this we are going to discuss with security. That's a very good point. And the stickers, yes, that's a owner of property in Greenwich. So that we will remember that, remind them about that. That's a very good point. Thank you very much. That helps a lot.
okay, final question. One up here in the front. 3.
Okay, since we're on the subject of security and so forth, I wanted to have a hot dog cart at the condo on my birthday. I went to the HOA office, they said no problem. I got a guy coming out and gave me my truck to tow with, it's got a sticker on it. I came up behind him and the security was telling him to go away. Anyway, I vouched for him, we go down there. 20 minutes later, there's a security truck there watching us set up his hot dog cart in my driveway. And he comes over and says, oh, you can't have that here. And I go, why? And he went away. Because my supervisor said so, you can't have a hot dog cart. And I said, why? Show me the rules, I can't have a hot dog cart. So he comes back a little bit later and says, oh, man, my manager says you can't have a hot dog cart. And I said, show me the rules and regulations. So they wait about 20 minutes and they go, oh, you can't have and we find in the rules and regulations, you can't have a business at condos. And I said, I paid $100 for the hot dogs I'm giving away free, there's no business. Go away. And they come back again with the one I expected. You're blocking the driveway, you can't block the driveway. And I said, well, my neighbor's here at my party, and he says I can block his driveway. Oh, no, the rule is solid. It says you can't block the driveway. You can't block the driveway. There is no change to that rule. So we pulled it back under the edge of my condo where I don't block the driveway, and they finally went away.
Did you get lost? So there's a good example of a lack of common sense. But that needs to get, no, I mean, I would be pissed off at that myself. Thank you for letting me know. Ron.
I'm sorry for the additional question, but it came to mind as we were talking. But on the assumption that the joint venture partnership goes through, it was originally presented, I think, as a 50-50 deal. So my question would be, if it does go through, is there a controlling partner? I mean, what do you do when it comes to voting between the two of you? I mean, who really would be in charge in that joint venture?
Well, my arrangement with her is that I've told her that if she does make the investment, that I would stay 3 to 5 years, okay, max. And then, of course, then she has the right to buy the rest of my interest out, and I would have, you know, if she doesn't buy it out within 30 days, I have the right to sell it to another party. We really, you know, in the event of a dispute like that, where we can't see eye to eye on things, I'm imagining there will be a board. There will be a board, and the board will have an odd number of reps on it, so that we can a tiebreaker will be broken by a board vote.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest. Good. All right, so we got you for 3 to 5 years.
I think you guys would like to see me go to 3.
I tried to do that without emotion, you know, you say good or bad. Thank you.
Hi, Pat. Karen Ruby. I live in the condos, and I'm concerned about the retaining walls that were supposed to be constructed. Well, some of them were, but the one next to my condo was supposed to be done in June of last year. And I noticed that there hasn't been any work on the retaining walls for quite a while. Can you give us an update on the schedule for those?
I'm going to let Jesus talk about that, because Victor Sisweta is the guy who is our manager responsible for retaining walls. But I will mention to you that in the plan for with a new investor, that is one of the areas that we're going to double up the workforce on and get all those retaining walls in there as soon as possible. So I know it's been a tedious and long process, but they basically, to build those walls, have been harvesting stone from the mountain, and then they bring the stonework in, and then they do the work. But I'll let Jesus comment.
Yeah, thank you. But well, you know, obviously, you know, when we close the deal, you know, we expect to get, you know, funds in order to hire, you know, like 20, 25 people, you know, to continue with this work. Right now, what we do is to use our maintenance department, and we just dedicate like 6 people, you know, working on that walls. And well, we go to get the stones, you know, into the mountain. We brought the material, and we start doing that. It's a very slow process with the resources that we have right now. I mean, in the plan, in the future, as Pat says, you know, we will, you know, have more people. You know, we're planning to have at least, you know, 20, 25 people working on that. Because this is the work that we need to by hand. and we need more hands. Then that's what we are gonna do. What we can do is to publicize, the schedule according to what we have today, and see, where is your condo, and maybe what we can do is just to see if we can, make a priority in your area. But we have a schedule right now, and we are working, based on that.
Why don't you give us your condo number, and then Doreen will look into that schedule and answer you directly.
Okay, but the pickleball renovation has priority over the retaining walls. So the developers.
Let her finish her comment.
I was just asking that in looking at priorities, the renovation of the pickleball court has priority over the retaining walls.
Well, it's a total, the pickleball court's not done by our maintenance people. These are outside contractors that are doing that work. But it's...
I thought he said that they were doing the work themselves, and that's why they were saving a lot of money.
Well, that's the HOA maintenance department. This is a developer maintenance department that's responsible for retaining walls.
Okay.
Thank you.
I met a man yesterday at the Palapa, and we were just talking, and he said, there's people in his neighborhood who are walking around and reporting minor infractions, and they don't even live near him. So is that encouraged that people tattle on each other? What is that about?
I'm assuming you're meaning the TRC committee is walking around, which is made up of owners and company or HOA staff that walk around the subdivisions and look at every construction to make sure they're in compliance with the CCNRs.
I didn't get any details. He just said people keep complaining about, he's been here a long time, I think people keep complaining about things. And I just wonder why people are telling on each other.
Reporting if somebody's not compliant, we let the committee review it, owners report non-compliance, and we just investigate all of that. If somebody's in non-compliance, we're gonna haunt them until they become compliant.
So that's encouraged if people find each other's?
Yes.
And I'll make just one comment on stickers. Because, with it's not the anticipation it's going to happen. Today's the 29th, in the next couple of days, at the end of this month, the fishing subsidies do go away. So I've told our security people and Roberto Islas that he needs to be very, very careful about who's on the range. Okay, and I've encouraged our guys that if they don't have current stickers, 2017 stickers, then those cars should not be allowed on the range. Now, I know we've gotten told about the middle of the year before they're before they're considered delinquent in 2017 dues payment, or Doreen's saying it's April 1? Okay, so we're past that. So I've encouraged them to say, hey, if they say they're a resident and they don't have a current sticker, then they either need to go to the HOA office and pay their dues and get their sticker, or we need a report of who they are. Because I know that ranch people have given cars away to Mexican people or sold them or whatever. And we have had situations where we have people on the ranch that should not be on the ranch, and they have an outdated sticker, and the security people have a tendency sometimes to be a little lenient and let them in. But we're gonna kind of tighten that up a little bit, just so you guys know. Okay. All right. Well, thanks again for coming, and have a good weekend. And I appreciate your attendance. And we will, as Ross asked, I will give you a monthly communication. First of all.